Hello, everybody. Bienvenido a todo. Welcome to Vabrut with me, Vabrut. We are in Trainsim World, TSW 5, as we always are in Trainsim World when we're on this channel. And I am today in the West Coast mainline because I'm very much enjoying it. As you probably tell from it being the most thing that I've posted about. Most thing that I've posted about. I don't think that's proper English. The route which I have recorded myself playing most out of the three new ones that came with GSW5. Now, I am doing another Class 350 London North Western service because I was actually on this exact service on Friday, that's just gone. So I put 27th of September. I've put over the overcast skies and a little bit of rain, which was what I was experiencing on the way down between Birmingham and London. But obviously, because only we're picking the train up at Milton Keynes, so we'll get started and set up the train. I'm gonna go. Oof. Right. I'm gonna. Oh no. Lights on. Daylight. Doors open. Gonna put on the wipers under slow because it's raining a little bit. And then I'm going to put on the DSD and I'll put on the TBWS, which I will turn off. Oof, so annoying. And then I'll do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gone. There we go. That is on. And I will close the cover. It was a bit nippy, so I will put on the heating. Just do 24. There we go. And I'll open the window for a bit of sound. There we go. Right, so where to start? So yes, I was in Birmingham for part of last week, and then I travelled down to London on Friday afternoon. And actually, this train was actually 12 cars long, I believe. It might have been 8, and I might be misremembering. Funnily enough, I didn't see that at Milton Keynes. Drop people who have fallen through the platform in the space-time continuum. But I believe this was a 12-car train. It could be been an 8, and I'm just misremembering. But I believe when I got down to the platform at Birmingham New Street, it was 12, and it was two 4 cars that were still painted in the London Midland colours with the sticker that had London Northwestern on it. And there was one, which is the one I rode in, which had the livery on it, the new livery. And I went in that one because it was at the back of the train and nobody was in it. The rest of the train was really crowded and people just weren't going to this bit. And the seats looked nice and new, and it was actually very comfortable. I'll be very honest. So yeah, that was I believe it was 12:06 that left Birmingham New Street. So obviously it takes, as this is about 1:30, it takes about an hour and a half to get here. There was a fairly long stop somewhere. I think it might be Rugby. And, well, let me tell you the whole story. So, I bought train tickets for Chiltern Railways because even though I was looking, say, I don't know, maybe a week, 18 days ahead, the tickets for Avanti were like 80 quid or something. It was really expensive unless the train was an awkward time. So I was like, no, I want to go at lunchtime. And I don't think they should be that expensive because they just shouldn't be. But they were very expensive in any case. So I was like, well, for the equivalent train on Chiltern Railways, it was 8 quid. So I was like, I'm doing that. Doing that for sure. So was all planned and ready. And then guess what happened? It started raining. So, the UK, world famous for a country where it rains. It's not a surprise to anybody. But for some reason, it is a surprise to the UK railways that flood when it rains. So I know I am being facetious, and I know that it was like a storm and there was like more rain than usual. Another 350. But nevertheless, it was very annoying because on the morning I checked the trains and it was sort of like National Rail was being very coy, Chiltern Railways were being very coy. So I called up and was like, listen, it looks like trains are being cancelled. and I need to know, and it doesn't look like anything's running into London Marylebone. And the woman on the call was very good at Chiltern Railway. She sort of like said, yeah, everything's currently stopping at Banbury, but it's possible that that trains that leave in the near future will get to Banbury and the line will be cleared and you'll be able to get into London Marylebone, but it might be slower and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, but then she was sort of like, the train I was booked on, she was like, that looks like it's cancelled. So your best bet for like absolute guaranteeing getting to London is maybe just go to Birmingham New Street and get a train from there, because the tickets were being accepted. Chiltern Railway tickets were being accepted on Avanti and London North Western. So I checked again, and I said, yeah, that's probably my best bet. I'll get an Avanti train at like 12:20. So get to the Birmingham New Street about 11:30, and I see there's two London Euston bound trains. There's one at 12:06, which was the London North Western, this service, which, as I say, it's only 4-car in this game, but it was at least 8, and I'm pretty sure it was 12. And which was already at the platform because it started there. And then there was an Avanti coming from Edinburgh that was going to pull in at 12:20. So my original plan was, well, I'll just wait for the Avanti because it'll be quicker. Even if it's 50 minutes later, it'll actually be 40 minutes quicker overall. So I'll do that. But I was kind of, because we were at the station for like half an hour, I was sort of like, well, why don't we just go down the platform and see if that London North Western is actually empty. If it looks comfortable, we'll just get on it because it's better than just hanging around here. And also because the train, I think at 10 to 12 had been cancelled, the Avanti, and so I was very mindful that there'll be more people than usual on the Avanti arriving from on the platform waiting for that Avanti. And perhaps worse would be if it was already busy from if it was also already busy from coming from Edinburgh. Not Edinburgh, Glasgow. It's already busy coming from Scotland, basically. So I was like, oh, okay, let's just go down, have a look. We had suitcases with us, so it was annoying. But we got down there, and like I said, the rear carriage, which was the newly refurbished one, well, kind of newly refurbished, in London North Western colours, was empty. So we got in there, we found a table seat, sorted, sat down, and set off on time at 12:06. And yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot of stops on these trains. When you're used to Avanti, there's a lot of stops. What can I say? I think there's like 10 stops before you even get to, well, there's like 8 before you even get to Milton Keynes. And then once you're at Milton Keynes, there's only, then we're stopping up Bletchley now, and then we'll be going to Leighton Buzzard, I think, and then we'll be going all the way to London non-stop. So we'll switch onto the fast lines. So A, it was really good to see what this service was like in real life. B, it wasn't actually that bad. Damn you! That might have been the Avanti, the one from Edinburgh. But it might also have overtaken us at Rugby or something, because we stopped a lot. Right, I'll close the doors. So yeah, we were on the train and we pootled along. And I will say this, even though it was a lunchtime train, so obviously not rush hour, it was actually not a million miles away from what the timetable in this game is like. We passed a few freight trains. We passed lots of Pendolinos. We passed lots of other London North Western. And then as we got to London, I think I actually made a note of how many. I only saw one Bakerloo train the whole stretch between Harrow and Wealdstone and Queen's Park. And I did make a note on WhatsApp about how many trains I saw. Okay, right, I saw. But so the northbound for the overground, I saw 3 northbound overground trains and 2 southbound. And only 1 underground train the whole way, which I think was going southbound at Queen's Park or northbound at Queen's Park. So That is telling me that, maybe it isn't as common to see the Bakerloo line as you think. Now, I don't know if the Bakerloo line was going through some problem that day. It could have been. I wasn't paying much attention. But, it didn't, like, I'm just saying, maybe it's not that crazy that the Bakerloo line isn't that busy. The Overground definitely was more busy in real life than it was in this game. Usually you only see maybe 2 or at most 3. Whereas, like I said, at lunchtime on a Friday, I was seeing 5. Oh, look, this is one of the freight trains we passed. And yeah, they're super noisy when you go past them. I forget that. So yeah, that was kind of that, and it was actually, you know what, it was really pleasant. The journey overall, like I've had very bad memories of London Midland, and them being like the substitute when you can't afford a Virgin back in the day. So you do a London Midland, it would be like it would feel like it stopped everywhere, and it was horrible, and it was overcrowded. But this one actually, Friday lunchtime in the carriage we were in was pretty much empty. Considering I'd been expecting a lovely, scenic, relaxing Chiltern Railways journey and instead got this, it was actually very nice and I was very pleasantly surprised. And going down, like feeling that train at 110 miles an hour, I mean, it does, it feels fast, for like a little multiple unit that's like pootles around the West Midlands as you're leaving at around like 50 miles an hour, and then as soon as you're out of Leighton Buzzard, you're like boom, 110, boom, all the way to London. So it is nice. Well, yeah, I mean, I did just really want to talk about that basically as like, hey, I'm doing the service that I was on Friday, and also that I think the game actually captures the route quite well. Maybe the timetable could be a bit busier on the Overground. But I actually think scenery-wise and everything, it's fine. I was very, very pleased with it actually, because I wasn't quite sure what to expect, having not actually been in the UK gone on the West Coast Main Line for quite a few years now. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm gutted that I couldn't go on the Chiltern the Chiltern Main Line, because it's great. It's a great line. And I was really hoping to get one of the loco holds. I think the train I had booked, oh well, according to real-time trains, but like 4 days in advance, and I don't know if I was it had the right information. It was supposed to be the Class 68 diesel loco pulling the or was it an 88? I don't know, the sort of clunky diesel. That was supposed to be pulling the rake of Mark III's and the driving van trailer, which I was very excited about, because I was like, oh, it's going to be a really comfortable journey on those Mark III's, everything quiet and nice, and then yeah, it didn't happen, so we were on this, which wasn't exactly noisy or anything, but yeah, it wasn't quite as comfortable as you'd get from a loco hold set either. So yeah, that's my story of how I was on this train, on this line on Friday, and yeah, they've got London Euston pretty much bang on as well, apart from the crowds. Oh my god, that station is horrible for people. Obviously, as soon as you pull up at a station, if on the platform adjacent to yours, there's on the platform island adjacent to yours, there's an Avanti boarding. Jesus Christ, people are like punching each other and running, elbowing each other. They're like throwing kids out the way so they can get onto the train first. It's like carnage, proper carnage. And you're just walking into the station, just seeing this crowd of people. It's like World War Z or something. But it was fine. I think London Euston is one of those stations that, like, it's one of the few stations in London that's actually very big, and even though it does have those restriction points as you get onto the platform, come to the platforms, it's not actually that bad. Like, it's still more spacious than most. But not, like I noticed they've changed the orientation of the tube station entrance, that you had to go out the station of Euston and then come back round the plaza to come back into the metro station, which again is fine, I suppose. I guess what they're trying to do is like not just have a conglomeration of people in the main Euston concourse, but then they've also made it smaller by putting escalators in so they can put more food places in upstairs. Um, and I didn't see any of the HS2 works apart from the little bit outside as you approach the station. We like got on the tube as soon as we could and we're out of there. We got a Northern Line train to Bank. Saw the new Bank. Well, not new. I think it's like 3 years old now. But the new Bank circulation hall for the Northern Line, which was very lovely. And and then got the Central Line, which was not so lovely. To St Paul's, and that was where our hotel was, which is lovely. But oh yeah, I mean I don't know if I've said, but I've got lots of mods installed. So that's where I've got the livery and all the trains, all the 350s are showing up in the London Northwestern livery. I do have a mod that does that. Well, there's one mod from a group who do the train, and then there's another person who's done the signage at the stations to put the London Northwestern on it. So this is Leighton Buzzard, and we are gonna shoot off now, I think. We're gonna switch over to the fast lines now for the next 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes. So we're getting all the way up to 110, but I think we have to drop to 60 to switch over the lines. But that might not be for a while. Oh, no, it's kind of in a bit. So I'm not going to go crazy and go full speed. So I want to know if this is going to be a flashing yellow telling me to slow down. Or, well, no, it's keeping me slow. So I'm going to saunter. I'm going to saunter. I believe this yellow is telling me. Yeah, it's a flashing yellow. It's telling me you're switching tracks. I wasn't sure if we were going to use the fast track, so I wasn't paying attention on Friday to know how the driver approached it. But presumably you keep your speed down as you approach the flashing yellow, and then you know what speed you're going to take the crossover at. I think it's 60 based on previous experience, but I don't know if that was that's the one outside of Milton Keynes or not. I don't think it's 100. Yeah, there are switchovers that you can take at 100, but they're usually like built very sturdy for like fast trains. Like I think some of the ones, the North of Doncaster, are like big fast switchovers that you take. So as one line goes off towards Leeds, the other line goes off towards Edinburgh, and your trains can just bypass, can go full speed through Doncaster and then turn off onto either of them. I think those have like switches and stuff like that. Yeah, we got 60. See, it was actually nice to see London as well because I haven't. Oh no, wait. Let me go through the mods. So I've got this mod installed. I've got the mod for the signage installed. I've got a mod to reduce the brightness of the world because I do find this route to be a tad too bright. I've also got a mod for. Oh, I've got like some engine INI mods to increase the draw distance and stuff like that. I think I got my screen percentage set to like 110%, something like that, to like make it a bit sharper. And I think I've got some mods to make the lights, the signal lights, like glow a bit more, like or glare less. Glow more or glare less. I don't know, or more. One of the two. And anything else that might be affecting this route? I think I've got a rain mod installed to make the rain look better. Do I? Well, it's not raining enough for me to be able to tell. But like the TSW rain is like really long white streaks, and then the modded one is like shorter stubby streaks. Right, off we go. Full speed now. Any other mods to speak of? No, but you'll notice that like well, when I finish, I'm using a different player profile because just before I went away, I broke my computer somehow. I downloaded some drivers for the motherboard, and they did something. I don't know what they did, but they like bricked it. I could not get back into my computer without reinstalling Windows, and even though I thought I was preserving files, I didn't, and I wiped pretty much everything. So I had to re-download everything. So I spent like 3 hours today re-downloading Train Sim World and all the DLC, playing through the route so that I got rid of the original, the sort of big heavy stutters that you get when you first go through a route. Oh god, what else did I have to do? Well, I had to download other games as well. I had to reinstall all the mods. Had to reinstall the streaming software and the recording software. I had to reconnect all my Bluetooth devices to it. Gosh, it was annoying. And I've still got to like one of the SSD drives hasn't been recognized, so I've got to format that or do something to get it recognized by the game, by the computer at some point. Ugh. The files on there are okay, but it just doesn't show up. It's not recognized by Steam, I don't think, so I think I might need to do something. But yeah, that was a faff. An annoying thing to return to, because I'd like it finally like gave up the ghost after I installed these drivers like on the night before I left to go to the UK, and then so when I got back I was like, oh, I've got to try and troubleshoot this and figure it out, and so I spent most of Sunday night trying to figure it out, and then well, I spent most of Sunday night like researching it, like with my laptop, what it could be. Then most of Monday night after work, trying to figure out what had to be done, how to putting all of that into practice before I eventually realised I just have to reinstall Windows, because something seemed to have gone missing from my folder, and it just would not boot without that thing. I couldn't get in beyond it just wouldn't boot. So I was like, okay, I have to start from scratch. Which is annoying because there was some videos and some clips and pictures on the that I lost, but overall it's not too bad because I've still got, because that was actually a mirror image of my old hard drive that I still have, which I changed in January. So I've only really lost like 9-10 months of stuff. It's not like I've lost years. Oh look, we've got trains coming up. We've got whoosh whoosh whoosh. And then whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Why is he going so slow? Where's he come from? We're at Watford already. No, we're still miles away from Watford. Watford's there. Well, maybe he stopped here. Could be Hemel Hempstead. Tring. Tring. So yes, that was very annoying that I had to reinstall everything from scratch. But it also means that, like, you know, everything's clean now. There isn't any bloat that I've pulled across from one hard drive to this one. It's all just new. And like even applies to this game. Like I installed my mods and stuff, and I lost my profiles. There must be a way to get them back, I guess. Oh, actually no, I didn't. I guess if I deleted the file, then yeah, it's got nothing. It can't import anything, and I don't know if that is saved anywhere in the cloud or anything. So, oh well. I'm not that bothered by all of the by all of the things anyway. So yeah, while I was in the UK, I did get to see Crossrail. So let's explain what I saw. So Birmingham Airport to begin with. Didn't see any trains there because I got picked up by car. Didn't really see any of Birmingham, so didn't see all the new trams. They're not new, but they're... No, I think I did see them at Christmas anyway, so yeah, didn't see them. Didn't see... Because we went to New Street instead of Moore Street, didn't see the new tram tracks they've laid on through Digbeth. But again, not too fussed about that, just generally. And also didn't get to see the sort of mess they've made in the end of the High Street, where they've torn down the buildings to bring to link up the city centre line with with the new extension through Digbeth, which I think is when it's done, it'll be going to the airport maybe. I know it's supposed to go to like Chelmsley Wood and everything, I think. Or is it going somewhere else? I think it's supposed to eventually go to the airport. But anyway, I didn't see any of that. So then New Street saw... Well, it actually wasn't... I didn't see any of the new class... Are they 730s that run for West Midlands trains on well, West Midlands trains and London North Western. Is it 730, the new electric ones that are replacing the 323s? Didn't see any of them. Well, no, I did. No, I did. Tell a lie. I did. Yes, I did. Horrible colour scheme, but I did see some. And then I saw some randomly parked up outside of London Euston as well. I saw a couple of Avanti 805s. Whilst we're on the West Coast main line. Did you see anything else interesting on the West Coast main line or at New Street? No, just your usual modern electric and diesel trains. And then saw, as when we got to Euston, saw, yeah, actually, yeah, it was just saw some of the, saw those 730 West Midlands trains parked up outside Euston weirdly. Seemed like a weird place for them to be because they're in the West Midlands livery and everything. And yeah, saw the London Overground train, saw the Bakerloo, well, one Bakerloo line train. And then in London, saw the new Banktown. Oh, and saw Crossrail. Crossrail was brilliant. Well, I say it was brilliant. It was just like a train that goes underground. I mean, the thing is, like, living in Madrid, where they have like a big tunnel that runs like throughout the basically runs from the north to the south of the city, with full-size trains, double-decker trains and everything. Would you like live with that? Like, Crossrail just isn't that interesting. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not a tube train, but then the metro trains in Madrid are about the size of the full-scale trains for Crossrail anyway. So it was nice to be able to go from Liverpool, because I only really used it once. Yeah, I went to Liverpool Street to Bond Street, and it was nice. Like the stations feel big. That's a real big plus point, because obviously London Underground stations feel horrible, small, dingy, have really bad lighting. Whereas the Crossrail ones are quite nicely lit, like they've got the light sort of bounces off things so that it's soft lit, but it's bright too, whereas the London Underground is just horrible spotlights that just, everything is dingy and horrible. I think only like some of the newer bits around Bank and Victoria where they've added new tunnels and were particularly nice. Then also later that same day after Crossrail saw the northern line extension to Battersea power station. So that was interesting, because like that's like a deep level tube using the original loading gauge, so very like still small train, still the original 90, well, not the original trains obviously, they would be like 100 years old, but the 96 stock is it that runs on the northern line, so that was on it. And yeah, those trains are alright. got no major hiccups with them. Still got hard seats though, I thought. And we got off at Battersea Power Station. And it was all right. The station, it's like cut and cover, I think, so it's very big and spacious, like some of the Jubilee Line extension ones, rather than being like dingy small tunnels that you then, you still have to like get yourself out of it with the escalator and everything. But the above ground bit was very bland, sort of very odd how it feels quite small once you get to the top, and then the way you turn around, it's not facing Battersea Power Station, so you have to turn around and walk down this little path, which doesn't feel like enough for the amount of people who were there. And then Battersea Power Station development itself is hideous and awful. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, talking about modern developments and stuff, but just relentlessly hideous, boring. Like, there's definitely a sort of feeling, I think, that planners and architects have sort of maybe persuaded themselves, but certainly are trying to persuade the public that like retail led is the same as pedestrian friendly or things like that. Like, oh, we created pedestrian plazas for our retail space, which is all privately owned, and that's the same as people led or it being a pedestrian zone. Not really. It's very clearly that like built to serve retail. Horrible. The new buildings are really, there's like a Frank Gehry building that's just looks like plastic, looks cheap. Then there's some glass buildings that are all, the usual standard fare of glass, that don't look very nice, seem like they're very impractical because obviously in summer they massively overheat, so everyone's got curtains up that just make them look messy and not very nice. What else didn't I like? It's a shopping mall. That's basically all it is. A shopping mall and office. So I don't like the new glass additions to the top where they've put the office space on the roof. Not nice, in my opinion. The shopping centre and the turbine halls are sort of, they are what they are, but nothing special to me. I don't like how you enter it or exit it. I don't think any of it's a particularly nice space to be inside of, to be around. The park in front of it is about the only nicest bit, because it's got some grass, so there's nature. And like, that was literally it. So didn't like that at all. Wasn't a massive fan of the station either. It was all very meh. Then, what else was there? While I'm complaining, Nine Elms is in general meh. Whole area, not a fan of it at all. I mean, honestly, I would rather have Battersea Power Station just have been left as a decaying wreck. I'll be very honest, the sort of, oh my god, it's such an important part of history. Like, yeah, because it was a power station in the middle of London pumping out fumes that killed thousands of people via smog. Like, that's what it's infamous. It's not famous, it's infamous for that reason. So I'd have been perfectly happy to just watch it go to be a wreck. Given all the flats that they're building and everything there is like 90% very rich, expensive housing that nobody I know is going to benefit from, I got no stake in it. I'd be happy to just watch that place be a wreck, a modern ruin, fall into disrepair. And even from a distance now, you can only see the chimneys. The bulk of the building, which used to be like the vista you'd see from like Vauxhall Bridge or is it Albert Embankment opposite, you don't get that now because it's just surrounded by buildings that all come up to the roof height. So it's just a massive, just terrible massing. The sort of pedestrian experience in that area isn't nice. I don't like Nine Elms generally. All of the buildings are oddly laid out, creating very strange spaces. The Nine Elms High Street, I don't know what it's called, Nine Elms Road that runs through, just isn't very nice at all. Still just feels like a big dual carriageway, even with all the new buildings. No real effort made to make it like slow it down or make it feel like less of a trunk road. So yeah, that whole area was a write-out. Like, and it makes sense because when you get to Vauxhall and you see all of those horrible new skyscrapers that are just planted in weird ways next to, what's it called? Is it called Vauxhall Wharf? That horrible thing they built in the early 2000s. It's all green glass and sort of horrible stepped back and very nouveau riche. Once you see that, that basically established the trend for the area, and it's been doing that. That whole area is now that, basically. US Embassy building as well. I don't think I'd ever seen it close up and was sort of very unimpressed by it. Just looks like an office block. The old one, which I did see earlier that day in Mayfair, so much nicer. Like real presence to it. Even with the additions they've made, they've kind of kept it in keeping with the original like 60s brutalism and stuff like that. So it wasn't so bad that they've sort of. The only thing is that the eagle is now sort of sat below a sort of roof, the sort of addition they've added to the roof, so it doesn't have the same prominence, but it's pretty nice. But yeah, the new one in Battersea isn't very nice. It's just boring, really. And, oh god, what else? God, I'm really ranting now. What did we do after that? Oh, we got the Victoria line, then got the District line back to the hotel. Yeah, that was basically it. And oh, did see Liverpool Street whilst it's still there. I've said before on a stream or a video that I'm like, if they go ahead and they defile Liverpool Street with that hideous, is it Herzog de Meuron proposal to build an office on top of the concourse, it'll be dead to me. That whole London will be dead to me. I will never forgive it. Yeah, so I got to see Liverpool Street in its current form, which made me happy, because I love that station. I mean, yeah, it could do with some improvements, but like removing stupid things like photo booths that are in the middle of the fucking concourse, that would be a nice thing to do. Realigning the escalators so they don't have weird shapes would be a fun thing to do. Destroying the roof and the entrances that were built in the 90s to create the station that we have now isn't going to improve anything. It's being done to build an office block. That is literally it. And if they do it, dead to me. London is dead to me. And generally, a lot of the new developments I noticed in London, a lot of the skyscrapers in the city of London, they follow a very, 20 years ago when it was like the Gherkin and then the Shard and the walkie-talkie, and it was all these buildings that like not necessarily architectural icons. They're all glass buildings that follow a fairly archetypal sort of steel frame with glass exterior. But they were trying to experiment with shapes and create something. Now London skyline, it's just blocks. Everything is a flat roof. It's just blur, and it's always with the same sort of grey blue glass. And I just find it a bit depressing, to be honest. So yeah, wasn't impressed with the City of London at all. And by the looks of it, like lots of parts of London, like Wembley, Stratford, Croydon, they've all had their sort of attack of the sort of skyscrapers. And like the residential ones are all made out of brick now. Like I think it's called like New London Architecture or New London Style or whatever. And it's just like, let's put bricks in different shades on one building. It's like they were doing that in the 90s. It's not modern or new. Let's add some glazed green tiles around the windows to make it look like we've got architectural detailing. It's like, we can see you adding the prefabricated panels with those tiles on them as you're constructing it. This isn't detailing. Like, don't stop lying. It's just the same methods that you were using when you were making everything out of grey anodized aluminium before you realised it was flammable. Oh god. So as you can tell, I came back from the UK, glad that I don't live there anymore. Very annoyed and very thanking God that I don't live in London anymore, for sure. Although I did enjoy myself, don't get me wrong, it's much nicer as a tourist going to London than living there, 100%. Also means when you're a tourist, you can appreciate West London. Because when you live there, you're like, ugh, West London, that's where rich people live. But when you're a tourist, you're like, oh well, it's not. There's no rivalry. It's just a nice place to visit. Oh look, Mayfair, how nice. You don't get depressed about how expensive it is and how you can never live there. When you're a tourist, you're like, oh wow, we can look in the shops and it'd just be a nice thing to do. So yeah, that was. I don't think we've seen a single London Overground train in motion yet. And no London Underground. Yeah, this part of the line is definitely quieter than it was in real life. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just was ranting endlessly about London. Not what anybody tunes into this channel for. But yeah, I'm very grateful to live in Madrid, and getting back was very nice. Oh, and also, so after doing all of that, then on the day we left, I did get to see, did also get to see, we got the train, we got a class 700, or is it 701? From 707, maybe, from Blackfriars to Gatwick, and that was nice. So we got to see Croydon, and actually we went past a Pullman train, so it was like, I think it was a pair of class 67 diesels with a rake of Pullman coaches that looked very smart and snazzy. And then we overtook them. They sort of overtook us at Croydon, and then they continued on the slow lines towards Brighton, and we went onto the fast line and overtook them on the way to Gatwick. So that was a Thameslink train, and it was actually quite slow around London, like lots of red signals. But yeah, it got us to Gatwick more or less on time, and then Gatwick was. Oh, much nicer now. The station is big there. That's a nice addition. Oh look, we got a southbound overground. We're racing. Get in. Get in. I need to see like if I see 3 northbound overgrounds in the next like 5 minutes, then then it will be like it was in real life. Oh, and we saw this building. It was very nice to see as a passenger. It's lovely. Concrete. Foreboding concrete. And what else? What else? Let's see what seat we were in. We were literally, I was sat in that person's seat. But if I was this was the carriage at the back. So yeah, that was my London, Britain, UK transport experience. It was nice. It was nice to be reminded of why I don't live there anymore. But it was also nice because I had to see people, and yeah. And it is nice when you get to see something like Crossrail, and you're like, wow, they destroyed like half of Soho for this. And I remember the trials and tribulations of them getting it built. It's nice that they got there in the end, and they've got something pretty nice to show for it. Because definitely the stations are the nicest thing about it, I think. The trains are sort of meh, you know, modern trains, nothing special about them. Um, the like it doesn't actually go anywhere that that the Central Line didn't go for me. I could have got the Central Line from Liverpool Street to Bond Street, but it was so much nicer than the Central Line, so it definitely had that in its favour. And anything else? Oh, and yes, it was actually nice to go to went to the I think it's called Salesforce Tower now, but it used to be called Heron Tower. Went to the Duck and Waffle restaurant at the top of that. Got to see some nice views of London. So yeah, I'm content and I'm glad to be back in this game, where I can drive the trains rather than having to negotiate them and the weather as a passenger. Oh, look, there's a Pendolino. Oh, look, we got a yellow. That Pendolino must have been blocking us. Go on. Out. Out. You leave London. Tail between your legs. But yeah, I think next transport things we got to look forward to in Spain is there's some new Cercanías commuter trains coming. They're currently being tested. They're the Stadler Fleur, their version of. But I think there's also some Alstom trains coming as well. But the Stadler Fleur ones are like a mixture of single and double decker. Oh, we've got another northbound. Oh, okay. Actually, I remember this one leaving as we were arriving too. So this timetable's pretty snazzy. Um, what else? So yeah, like this route definitely gave me good vibes about and that Pendolino was on our left as we arrived as well. Huh. But it was just letting people on, so it was just like a mass of people. Um, Also, my commute home from work has been like destroyed because they're building expanding a tube station, a metro station here in Madrid as well. Because they're extending, well, they're extending two metro lines at the same time. Three actually. I think it's line three. Oh no. Oh no. Line 3, yellow line. Line 11, green line. And line 5, lime green line. Yes, that's it. So yeah, plenty of stuff to look forward to here. Oh, I don't think we've got any more Aves coming in because we've just got the Talgo Avrils delivered. So yeah, how did I do? Gold. Oh, what did I? Oh, speeding. Yeah, I was speeding a lot, so I guess I don't get the platinum. But oh well, look, I got up to level 6 now. Um, Previously I was like level 200 and something, and that's all gone. Like tears in rain. Um, I'll just have to be content with starting again from scratch. Anything else that's worth saying while I'm here? No, I'll be making other videos. I think mostly going to be in the West Coast Main Line, but I should also do some Frankfurt Fulda ones because I do like the Flix train. And I do like the Tilty train on that as well. But it's just all the services are like an hour at least. And like already I feel like this one's long and that was only like 45 minutes. And they're challenging as well. It's a really challenging route with lots of speed changes, like not like this one, which is a bit more like it's the middle section is quite like, I mean, there's one speed dip basically for the middle of it, and the rest of it's fine. Let's wake up my mouse so I can stop the game when need be, stop the recording when need be, and I don't think I'm going to do San Bernardino videos because, to be honest, it just is too long. So my main thing now is really looking forward to Great Western Remastered when that comes out. Looking forward to the new Boston route. Is it Boston Middlesbrough or something like that? And oh, and people have been doing some really great modded timetables. I've got to check some out tonight because someone just released one for Munchen Augsburg and maybe another German route as well. But that's the one I want to check now, actually. So have a lovely. I hope you enjoyed my ranting about London, about Birmingham, about the UK, about my recreating my train journey in Train Sim World using the timetable train that I was on. That's what I love about this game, the timetable mode, because you can do that. And I got a gold. Not perfect, but not bad. And yeah, so keep an eye out for future videos. Let me know in the comments if there's any particular routes you'd like me to do. Can't promise I'll do them because I might not like them. I'm not that good at every route. Some points I'll just be too embarrassed to try and drive. But in the meantime, have a great weekend, month, year, whatever, and hasta luego.